Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Let me bring this up just so I can bring it up on the screen. Hopefully, you can see it. Charlie Downs sent out a message to everyone today on Twitter. Let's see if I can bring it up on the screen. I'm hoping you can see it all right. I'll probably have to raise it up a touch so you can see it. But there's Charlie Downs. He's the campaigns director, and I think he's done a fantastic job in Norfolk. They concentrated on Great Yarmouth, obviously. Can you all hear me and see me all right? Give me a 5B5, making sure everything is okie dokie. So give me a 5B5, meaning you can see and hear me in the chat. And then I'll continue with, we're going to get straight into this, and then we'll get on to the other stuff that I need to talk to you about, which is all important stuff. 5B5, thank you. Right, so there's been quite a bit, and I've got to be honest with you. I'll get onto that after. I am quite worried about a few things. If you're running a political party or a movement as we are, which is the English Constitution Society, which is educational, when you start leaning and trying to support people, it is important, if they get things wrong, that they say sorry. And I expect that from anyone, to be honest. But especially if it's someone now registered as a political party. So Charlie Downs, as the director of campaigns, who is young, I quite like him. I've been a bit frustrated at him a couple of times. And I did explain to people before, sometimes when you see me start growling, it's not necessarily, it's a bit like having a go at one of your kids. It's not because you don't like them, it's because you do like them. And sometimes you need people just to fucking listen to you. But this is what he said in a tweet today. Anyone who don't know anything about this, there's some woman called SAS Kia TQ or whatever her name
Saskia.
is. Huh? Saskia. I've spoken, he said, I've spoken to Saskia over the phone and apologised on behalf of Restore Britain for the way the situation regarding her speaking at one of our events was handled, right? So there's a couple of other things I want to say about this. Let me see if I can move that up a touch. Was handled. It was poor communication on our part, and for what we apologize, and for that we apologise, not just to her but to our loyal members. The matter has been resolved. Restore Britain is a party in its infancy, right? And I get that. They've also got money and people running around in the background doing all this stuff. A lot of people on social media, etc. There's a key thing that they won't listen to, but I'll get onto that. Restore Britain is a party in its infancy, taking on hulking leviathan that is the British political establishment. People need to understand that. The British political establishment, and it is corrupt to the core. So what you don't want is anyone making errors and then becoming that party when they don't admit they've made a mistake, right? Because that's how we've got into this mess. And to be fair, that's exactly why we got into the mess with the union. This can make us err at times on the side at times on the side of risk aversion. That ain't really going to work anymore. That's like political correctness. So you're either going to stand up and do it or you're not. Sometimes we will make mistakes. So he's admitted that, right? But nothing has changed. We remain committed to replacing the political class, really important. And again, anyone who knows me, I'm not a politician and I'm not a diplomat. And I'll get on to something else in a couple of seconds, right? embarking on an ambitious process of civilized, so I love this phrasing, civilized remigration, and standing for the interests of the people of these islands. That is the purpose of this party, right? That's what it says. That was sent out today at 2:31 p.m, May the 11th, 2026. Right, so I read through that, but I just want to make sure people are clear, and I'm gonna hopefully bring this up on the screen as we speak. I'm not sure if this is going to come up or not. Let's see if it does come up. Not sure if this is going to come up, so I'll have to probably stop sharing. See if this comes up. Everyone should understand that we've got an event coming up at the Dunes complex. Now, some of these people out there don't realise that we have got thousands of members, right? We've got a loyal base that believe in England. We've also got Scottish members, Welsh members, and Northern Irish members, right? Because they understand what we believe in, and they understand it is the union that is the problem, right? So we've got this event on Friday evening. There'll be a comedian there, June the 5th, and he's like an alternative comedian. And then we'll be there on Saturday and Sunday. It's important because it's both the English Constitution Society and the English Constitution Party. All of the groups. There's going to be like a seminar on both elements, and we're going to be having a discussion, and we're also going to be voting on some really important stuff. And I want it videoed, and I want it recorded. We'll probably have to. That's why it's going to be so important that people get there on both those days, and that is the 6th and 7th of June, 2026. And it is at the Dunes complex, and it's a little family resort in Lincoln. My own opinion, it's the absolute dog's bollocks. I loved it when I went there. Paddy is one of us who owns the complex. It is a free speech venue, right? And he makes a point of saying that. Even if he disagrees with what the people are saying, he still allows them to speak. Unlike many people, and I include Restore Britain in that, who have not allowed anyone to talk about self-determination and England receiving a referendum on complete independence. And I had a conversation with someone else. I'm not going to mention who it is because it's a private conversation in the background. Someone that I like, a bit like Charlie Downs. Someone I like, very young. And he just basically said to me, "What is it? Why is it you dislike the union so much?" And I've given it very briefly in a few words and explained it to him. I said, "But you're never going to understand because the British will never allow this discussion, right? So you've got Restore Britain saying they're against the British political establishment, and that is the union, right? They've created that. And yet they won't allow a discussion on this." So just to make sure I'm clear on this, someone else emailed me, and this is why I'm actually talking to you about this tonight. Someone else not emailed me, they sent me a message on Twitter. I'm being straight with you. That Sasha Kia Lee, or whatever her fucking name is, right? I blocked her about a year ago. I'm not an Ethonationalist. Right, I am a constitutionalist, and nowhere in the English Constitution does it mention race. So when people start talking to me about foreigners, I consider Scots as foreigners, as these law books tell you. The Welsh technically are English, right? But they're Welsh. They're under English law, right? And Northern Ireland are the same, right? Southern Ireland is a foreign nation. It's a separate jurisdiction. Scotland is a foreign nation, separate jurisdiction. Northern Ireland is a separate jurisdiction, but common law, right? So I've got no issues with Northern Ireland whatsoever. But let me just make this clear. All this ship out all these black people and all these brown people and all that, I ain't got a problem with that. Right? But I need you to understand the conditions that they are being sent out on are the same conditions, and especially on the criminal element, that apply to the Scots, the Southern Irish, the Northern Irish, the Welsh, and anyone else. And that includes the Polish. That includes the Dutch. And they're white people, right? Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? So I believe that they're too narrow. So people look at me and think, well, fuck me, you are really extreme right wing. No, I'm not. I'm an English constitutionalist, right? And I'm getting. So I've got to tell you this. I've got this Twitter message from someone, and they said to me, I'm not really happy about this, blah, blah, blah. And this is where it's dangerous for someone like me, who is leading a political party and the president of the English Constitution Society, to start voicing any support for political parties like we've done. And this person accused me of conning the English by supporting Restore Britain, right? So what I did was blocked them permanently, right? I can tell you now, for some of the things that I've done, and especially standing up in courtrooms and taking that stress, and I can tell you now, if you can't show the stress outwardly, in other words, by going like that, and you take it inwardly, it causes problems, right? And I've said I felt ill for months, right? And especially at my age, we've started to deal with extreme stress. So I've fucked the geezer off completely. And I can tell you now, if I ever see the geezer again, I will tell him to fuck off. If he turns up at Maplethorpe, I will tell anyone there doing the security not to let the geezer in, right? I'm not interested in people making silly comments like that for everything that we as a team have done. But there's an important message for Restore Britain, right? We put out a message that we would not stand against you. We would not stand against you. You might think we're muggy people, right? I can tell you now, right? We're 1,000 times better than you at fucking communicating with people, right? Most of the people that email or contact us as a political party or English Constitution Society get a fucking response, right? Now, I've said that we're going to go out and deliver these leaflets. 3 times I've emailed to say, are we all right to deliver these leaflets? They've given me the leaflets. No response whatsoever. And you start to think, are these people ignoring us? Or are they really this bad at communicating, right? It's not hard, right? And there's other things I could say. So there is obviously something seriously wrong with the communication. Now, they've spoken about this Alistair guy that's the head of the Restore Britain parliamentary party. And I've said this in a tweet, I sent it out. There's 2 separate parts to the Labour Party. There's the membership and there's the parliamentary Labour Party. They're 2 different things, right? The Labour Party does whatever it fucking wants, including being controlled by the Fabian Society, right? And then there's a membership that don't want none of the bollocks that they're coming out with. And I'm being straight with you. And it appears to me that that's been set up by this Alistair. But this Alistair guy, his fucking wife is Ukrainian. So the very people that I'm saying, hold up, I don't want them in my country, right? If they're doing any of these things, if they're in social housing or whatever. So what's he done? Rupert Lowe is actually employing the Ukrainian. You don't think there's other people in England that could do with that fucking job? How many times have I been sacked in this country for being fucking white? And you expect us not to say anything, right? So part of me thinks, fuck Restore Britain. That's what I honestly believe. But I'm not having 2 Bob shit cunts talk to me on messages saying you're conning people. Go and fuck yourself, right? Go and fuck yourself. Stand in front of a fucking 2 judges and 3 judges and do what I fucking do. You gutless little cunt. That is my personal opinion of that person. And let me tell you something. That same person caused a problem somewhere else and got a fucking clump. That's the type of people you don't want in the party, right? Ethonationalists who are thick as shit. They couldn't stand up in a court of law. They couldn't persuade 3 fucking appeal court judges to go with you, right? All they can do is walk down the road with a can of beer and be pissed and cause fucking problems for everyone. That's why I don't like ethonationalists. They're as thick as shit. Do I make myself clear? But my issue is, we're all nice people, right? I've been doing this since I was 16 fucking years old. And now you've got people like this Tom Montgomery or whatever his name, 20 years old. I put a tweet out to him today, right? He's basically turned around and said, you know, working class people are lazy. Working class people are this. Working class people are that. You 2 pob little cunts. We built the country, right? And his mummy and daddy have both got degrees. Mummy's a psychologist. Daddy's a computer programmer. Really? You middle class twat. So all I'm doing is being honest, right? And I am being honest. This is the way I would sit there and have a discussion with any one of them people. Restore Britain, right? They are just the same as the British establishment. I'm asking a question now, right? None of these people are going to watch this. How many times has England had a national referendum? In this union, how many times has England? So Scotland, 3 times it's had its own national referendum. Nothing to do with anyone else, just Scotland. It's on its way to its 4th, right? Wales, I think, has had 3. Northern Ireland's had 2. How many has England had? Nil point. None. 0. Nada. You wonder why people are getting the hump. So what? All us white English and the working class, we're just mugs, are we? Because you middle class cunts have fucked up our country. You middle class cunts have sent all our fucking jobs abroad to China, right? You sit in your fucking university jobs, right? And shit all over us and expect us to take it. Fuck off. But that's also a fuck off to these silly arseholes that are sending me messages about you're conning people. Fuck off with you etho-nationalists. I'm not interested in you. Who we deal with, and this audience, are people who think, right? We're not interested in the fucking cunt who wants to sit there like that and march down the road with Tommy fucking Robinson. Fuck that. Now, we're going to get on to the next conversation, shall we? And by the way, to someone else, yeah, I did leave London, but I never left the fucking country, did I? I'm in fucking Devon. Devon needs saving badly. So does Cumbria. So does Norfolk. But you won't do it by being all like that, political correct. Does everyone understand exactly what I just said? So I'm not having a go at this audience. I'm just explaining to people how I feel. But if these people don't communicate and they think we're a bunch of mugs, then we'll just carry on what we're doing. We'll say, listen, fuck you. You're not listening to us. We'll carry on, right? I'm telling you now, Scotland is a Roman law jurisdiction. And the worst thing that could ever happen to this country, meaning England, was a union with Scotland because you brought Roman law into that parliament. That's what's causing you the problem. A.V. Dicey has said it. Many others have said it. Top scholars, not just me. I'm just a working class geezer that they talk to fucking read. So that being said, I am now going to get on to the next part and hopefully the calmer part of this. I met my little mate today. And unfortunately, I can't show the whole photo of him. Where's the whole photo?
On your phone?
Where's my phone?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to see if I can show you the whole photo, because I haven't got the whole photo of him. But I met my little mate today, just to let you know. Right, and I'm going to send it to myself so I can show you. And he's a proper full Comanche, English. Hopefully I can send all of these, but I'm not sure if this is going to work. I hope it does. Right, without sending too much. That's that one. How am I going to send that? Well, let's see if this works. I'm going to show you my little mate. Someone's just said to me, well, I'm not going to read out the comment. I just had. I'm not going to read out that comment. But let me tell you something. My dad ran his own business. He started work when he was 6 fucking years old, right? So some middle class cunt is not going to tell me, right, that fucking white working class are lazy. Fucking 20-year-old prick. Now I'm going to send these pictures because I want to show something, right? And if there's any wonderful people out there that want to say that fucking Kenya's even better, you can do it, right? But I'm telling you now. Let's see if I can send this to my messaging. By the way, anything I say online stays online. Unless I absolutely once incited things and I shouldn't have incited and I deleted it quickly, right? Only because I'd fucking proper lost it. But let me just make sure I'm sending this information out there. Because people need to know I'm sending these out there. I'm not tolerating this. And again, I want everyone to be clear on this. I am not an Ethonationalist, right? I have got, believe it or not, yes, black mates, right, that are more fucking English than these Ethonationalists ever will be, right? And I'd rather have them standing behind me, protecting fucking Devon, right, and getting out of London, the shithole the British have fucking created. And let me tell you something, them geezers regard themselves as English. Maybe culturally English, not they are fully accepting, right, that they are not indigenous English, but they talk like me, they walk like me, and they fucking think like me. Just to make everyone clear on that, let me just show you this. These people don't listen, right? And I can tell you now, their communication is fucking piss poor. For someone who's allegedly run a business, and I've run businesses, right? Their communication is the worst I've ever seen, ever, right? And it can only mean, for me, I'm looking at it, maybe they're just fucking ignoring us, right? They don't want anything to do. That's fair enough. Just say that, right? And we'll keep doing what we're doing, right? Because there's plenty of people out there now saying, why are we in this fucking union? And it's because of people like Restore Britain that won't fucking listen. You're just another unionist party. You'd be the only fucking people ever to turn around and say, I'll tell you what, let's give the English a crack at referendum and see. And you know why they won't do it? Because I know what the fucking answer will be. So yeah, if you think I'm pissed off, I am pissed off. Right, now I'm going to show you my mate, right? And he's a proper fucking pal of mine, so don't be taking the piss out of him. Here he comes on your screen now. This is my mate, Pig, right? I've spoke to you about him before, right? So we went and visited a church today. I'm going to show you him, right? He looks dead. He's not, right? He come running up, so yeah, and you start rubbing his head and his back, and he lays down like a dog, rolls over, and lets you rub his belly. He's got big tusks coming out, right? He's massive, right? He wags his tail. He's like a dog, right? So we went to see him. and we ain't got no photos of Billy, have we?
No,
We got the Billy goat come running up to us as well, right? So there he is. He's alive. He looks dead, right? Should have took a video of him running towards us, right? But to be fair, that's him, right? After stroking him and sending him to set, and he's just laying there in the sun looking at us, right? Because I had my hand through the fence, was rubbing him, right? And he's got big I don't think you can see the tusks. He's got big tusks coming out of there, but he is the most gentle pig you've ever met, right? I won't say where he resides, but the bloke said, the farmer said to me, I like him. He said, we don't tend to get a lot of Muslims on it. I just started laughing, right? And he went, but he escaped one. And let me just tell you the story. He escaped one day, right? And he loves kids, and because they do things with special needs kids, with sensory needs, like he's been hand reared, right? And he is so gentle. He thinks he's human, right? Do you know that pigs are really, really, really intelligent, right? So the funniest thing happened. He he escaped, and he ran off down all the lanes, and he found his way through smell to the local school, right? This is the funny thing, right? So he's gone into the school, and the teachers are like, oh, fuck me, we've got a pig here. And all the kids have gone, it's Pig! Right? So the kids have come out of the school, and they're all rubbing he went there to get his head rubbed and his back rubbed, and then he's laying there and they're rubbing his belly. And then like the kids have said to the teachers, it's so-and-so's farm, it's Pig from the farm. So they ring him up to come and put a lead on him. Take him back to the farm, right? So he was laughing. There were some other photos I'll show you as well, but we went to this other place. Let me see if I can find you that. So that's Pig, right? So if you ever hear me talk about Pig, all right, that's who I'm talking about. And this photo, don't do him justice. He is massive, right? I mean, if he stood on his iron legs and stood, his head is probably twice, maybe three times the size of my head, right? He's massive. And if he stood up, he's easily as tall as me, probably taller, right? You don't realise how big they are until you're actually up close with them. But anyway, there he is. But it did make me laugh. And when we left, I did say, I feel guilty having a bacon sandwich now. Right, so this is another place we visited today, just to let you know. This is in Devon, and again, that looks like some sort of swimming pool, but I don't think it is a swimming pool. But there was a guy fishing in it, and the sea was coming over the edge and into there, right? But I'm just showing you how beautiful it is there. That was today, because we went and did something else, which I'll explain to you in a couple of minutes. But there it is. Absolutely. I mean, that's just gorgeous where it is. And I'm just showing. This is just a fraction of the Devon coast, right? And the majority of people there are absolutely wonderful, right? So again, that car park is right on the edge, and when you can go and have a look at it, and there it is there, right? So, it's what you're actually looking at. Let me see if I can come back off of that. Stop sharing a sec. Let me go back to this one. Let's see if I can find anything else in there. Oh, this one here. You'll like this, right? And do you all see all that? Can you still see and hear me, by the way? You all know that I won, just to make sure you're aware, you all know that I won the Chase the Ace competition on Friday. So just to let you know. By the way, most of you are going to get an invite to this wedding, right? But there it is. There is Janet's engagement ring, right? So she relieved me of most of my winnings today. I should say our winnings, really, but There it is there, the engagement ring. So just to make sure everyone knows, so I won it on the Friday. By Monday morning, I was out being dragged through jewellery shops, and in the end decided I don't like jewellery shops anymore. I was standing outside one of these jewellery shops, right? And I swear to God, they had some Tom in the window. And an old boy, and I'm not kidding, he had to be at least 90, come and stood next to me, looked at me, he was quite a bit smaller, looked at me, looked in the window, and do you know what he said to me? Have you got a brick? I just started laughing. He went, he said, there's a few quid's worth in that window, isn't there, son? And then he walked in the place next door. I was just laughing. Janet come out and said, what was you laughing about? I said, he said, have you got a brick? So there you go. Thank you for the congratulations. But like I said, everyone out there, yeah, it is. Obviously, I've blown it up on the screen, but it is nice. I did like it. And funny enough, I picked out the more expensive one. And she said no. I said, there's double reason. It was quite funny. Graham has walked the walk in many different shoes, in many different trains, as self-educated, you as working class man. I'll just get, listen, so, I mean, I'm not going to go into massive details, but like I say, I'm not going to tolerate silly people coming out with cracks like that. I'd ask anyone, what did the working class do wrong? Right? We allowed and we trusted a group of people called the Labour Party that was actually created by the Fabian Society. The Fabian Society was funded and managed by the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and it was the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and two other groups of people. London School of Economics, Fabian University. It wasn't us who did that. Just to make sure everyone is aware of that. It was not the working class that created that. Anyway, there you go. And I did actually say to Janet when we was having breakfast after we bought the ring, I said, you do realise you've got further than anyone else? But there you go. It was quite funny. And we do make each other laugh driving around Devon country lanes. She said, you drive like the police are chasing you. I said, I'm only doing the speed limit. But when you're on country lanes, you're doing 60 mile an hour, right, which is the speed limit. It's the bends. I can't get on as we go around corners. You know what I mean? It was funny. Yeah. She said, you think this Mondeo's a Ferrari, didn't you? What was that funny noise? Bing, 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 bing. That was quite funny. There you go. See you once, twice. Yeah. Let me have a quick look here. Greetings, fellow Aaron. Aaron. What a lovely assistant you have, Graham. Yeah, no, she's wonderful. So, yeah. And then she has to put up with me seething sometimes. She does calm me down, though. She goes, there. Calm down. I'll go, oh, right then. Congratulations, Graham and Janet. Thank you very much for Minnie Mouse. Jane, hope you're all well. Well, DD is from London, so that makes sense. Neil Russell, okay, I'll hit the thumbs up. Well done. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the share button. And don't forget to subscribe. But I do want to emphasise again, and I'll bring it up on the screen because it is important. We need people to come along to this because we're going to make some decisions. I'm going to talk about something else in a couple of minutes as well, which is just as important. the Law Society or the Law Gazette have sent out a big commentary today about the case where the barrister is now, and they said it's unprecedented. The barrister is going to be prosecuted for saying what, for protecting his client. It's not actually unprecedented, but the same barrister, I'm not sure if I can actually bring it up on the screen for you, because I would like to read out this particular thing. Let's see if I can do it. Let's see if I can actually hit this. Did I tell you, by the way, on Friday night, what happened Friday night? So Friday night, I won the Joker. Did you all know that, by the way?
Yeah.
I won.
Told them that.
Oh, right, because I've done a show after, didn't
I?
Huh?
Yeah, but not what happened later.
Oh, yeah. Did I not tell you what happened after? Well, I'm going to have to find this other stuff. Let me go back to my main screen. Right, so I was in a Spire competition, right? And all I bought was one ticket for $4.99. So don't think, because there's two parts of the Spire competitions which I like, is you get randomly selected the tickets and they're randomly picked. So it's just pure luck. There's no, to be fair, you've obviously got a little bit more traction if the more tickets you've got, but you could equally win it with one ticket. There was £100,000. I could bring it up on the. I don't know if I've got the video of it. £100,000 prize in cash, tax free. So I bought a $4.99 ticket, and it come up on the screen. And I was next to the winner, so I got the £50 consolation prize. So another 50 quid that night for $4.99. By the way, from nearly winning £100,000, right? But you should never be encouraged by it, because that's part of the game, right? They want you to buy 10 tickets next time, and you think you've got 10 times. I don't think like that. You don't want to get in. It's a bit like going in for a pint and you end up staying for 10. If you're going in for a pint, going for a pint. You go in for one ticket, going for one ticket. Yeah, but I was one away. Let me see if I can find you that.
You did have a screenshot of it earlier.
Yeah, I had a screenshot. Did you see it on the screen?
Yeah.
On this screen? Oh, yeah, there it is. No. Not sure if you can see it, right? But I'll put it on there. I'll put it on the screen so you can see it, just so you know I'm not winding you up. People in the pub went to me, "You jammy bastard." I said, "Do you mean fucking jammy? I just lost $100,000 by one number." Right? It's on the screen, right? So in gold is the person who won it, and Anthony Friendo. And there was his ticket number 23386, and there's me next to him, won a £50 credit, 23387. One number out, and nearly hit the £100,000 jackpot. Right, and then I'm sitting there thinking, wow, right? It's just, that's the type of thing. So it's not. It is a competition, but you've just got to be lucky both ends. But that's how close I was for £100,000. And the reason I like it, and again, I'm not encouraging people to gamble, it is a competition, is because they do like discounts. So if you do an early bird discount, you can get, I don't know, you'll get 10 pence a ticket, right? And you can buy, a tenner's worth of tickets. And then you get all them tickets, and then you're scattered all over the show with it. It's just, I just like the way they do it, and it's the southwest of the country. So down where I think they're in Somerset, which is just up the road. So you're sort of supporting a local business, even though there's loads of Scots, loads of Welsh, loads of Irish, loads of. It's just for the UK have won it, but that just shows how. Close I come. Only one bet when you have the edge. So there it is there. Look, 23387, and then if you look at the gold one, next to it on the left of it, 23386. I was one number away from 100 grand. And let me just make sure I tell everyone of this, right? That 100 grand would have gone straight into our kitty, right? If you ask Janet, she'd go, yeah, that's exactly what he'd do, right? I'm not interested in money. To me, it'd be a way of going straight in and trying to win. It wouldn't put the money. I'm not in this for money, right? Like I said, I don't care if I die a fucking pauper, and I've lost 3 jobs already. Do you know what I mean? Not for political activism, just because I've said, like, you know, you can't do this, or one particular job because they had gangers working on the site and illegal labour, right? And they was bunging each other massive, great big backhanders, and it was all coming out of public money, right? So it's not as if, I mean, I'm not just saying it. I do not like organised crime, and the politics has now become the worst kind of organised crime, without any doubts whatsoever. It would destroy society, right? And someone has to stand up and say it. So I'll just show you that. So you know, right? I'm not like, just when they said it in the pub, they went, really? Oh, well, look, and they showed me, and then I missed a couple of others. I think 3 times I've nearly hit it. But you can, again, the trick is if they've only, by the way, so they might have, I don't know, 800,000 tickets for sale. But if there's only 30% of the tickets sold, they still do it. They still do the competition. So then you're in it with 30%, right? And then if the ticket ain't picked, they pull it again. So it's like pulling a lever until they get a ticket. That's what I like about it. Evening. Good evening, everyone. Now, what else is it that I needed to say to you? I'm trying to find out what it is. Let me have a look. Thank you. You're a lucky man, Grandma. Congrats for their official engagement. Now you put a ring on her finger. Yeah. I've got to do it officially in the pub yet, though. I've got to embarrass myself in front of everyone. It won't be an embarrassment, really. Quite well, because it's bound to cause a reaction when everyone buys us a beer, isn't it? Graham, please look into chronologic expert, also expert on calorific regions. You two would smash it. Don't know who he is. Not being, I am trying as much. Kew Gardens, how you doing, son? I've been out in Devon all day today, driving around. Now, what was the other thing that I wanted to talk about? Oh yeah, before I went in back into a severe would you Adam and Eve it, right? All of a sudden a fucking email's just come through from Restore in the area I'm in it. Right? Fucking worst fucking comms I've ever seen. Right, I'll switch off from that, because I'm still believing on giving them the chance. Maybe they just don't get it. But we've run our own political party. All right, we ain't got 130, but we ain't got fucking 60 million pound in the bank or whatever it is with fucking Rupert Lowe's bit of strap and what they're getting in now. And another thing, never ever, right? Never ever say we're going to do a £10 membership, right? You should make them memberships 50 fucking quid, because people value what they pay for, right? It's a bit like if you go back and look at slavery, right? Slaves were actually valued. They weren't put into machinery. Very rarely was they treated that badly that they died because you lost your investment, right? White working class kids were stuck in machinery, were put into fucking burning hot chimneys and died, right? Because it didn't cost the master anything, right? You never value what you don't pay for. It's an important lesson people should learn in life, right? And the bigger the money you pay, the more you value it, right? Cromwell memberships, £2,500 each, right? But again, I think they're doing something so badly wrong. It can only be deliberate. Right, let me have a quick look at this. I need to bring up this. What did I say it was? Who sent the email? Not solicitors. I said it earlier. What did I say earlier? It's gone out of my head. Not a society. Let me have a look. I'll see if I can find it. And it may not be on that. It might be on that one. Let's see if I can go and find it. No. I still haven't seen. Has anyone seen whether or not they've put out any information in reference? Has the ruling been released for Rupert Lowe yet? I find it pretty strange that they're, because it's pretty important, really. Unless they're finding a way of tucking him up. I'll find this in about 2 minutes. Let's see if I can find this video. Not video. Let's see if I can find it. I'm going to see if I can find it. Let me have a look. It's coming up on my screen. No. Let's see if I can find it. Can't see where it is. Let's see if I can find it on here. It won't be on that one. I'm sure he sent me. Let's see if that's on there. Maybe I need to refresh it and see if they come up. Oh, it's refreshing as we speak. Oh, there it is. Right, I will bring this up. He sent me the link to it, but I'm already a member of this. But we'll put it on anyway. Where's the actual link? This is important for you to acknowledge, right? Or not acknowledge, but you need to understand. So it was a Law Gazette that sent this out, right? So this is, I brought you up on the show and said, what a terrible situation it was. The Law Society Gazette, right? Contempt proceedings against Rajiv Menon, think of the name, Rajiv Menon, would be novel and without historical precedent, says the Chambers. Contempt proceedings, right? So I'm going to bring this over and hopefully you can read it. Contempt proceedings over a King's Counsel's closing speech in the Crown Court trial of activists accused of criminal damage at a plant owned by an Israeli defence technology. Let me just make sure I'm clear on this, right? No other country in the world, apart from England, right, should be building arms and ammunitions in this country. Because once you're building arms and ammunitions for another country and that country goes to war, you become a target for the other country because you're building their weapon system. Does everyone understand that? Right? And there's hundreds of these manufacturing plants all over England, including just up the road in Bristol. Right? So when people start saying Iran can hit the UK or Iran can hit this, they're not saying they're hitting Europe because it's Europe. They're hitting Europe because this country is building weapon systems that's attacking them, right? And not just Palestinians. So just to make sure everyone gets, do you all understand what I just said? It's really important that people get the concept of that. It's a bit why Russia said, listen, You're the one supplying Ukraine with long distance cruise missiles. If any of them start hitting our soil, London becomes a target, right? So Menyon is accused of misleading the jury and ignoring the judge's directions during his closing speech in the January trial of 6 activists who broke into Elbit Systems. And people need to say this out there as much as possible. And we need a big group of us to do it, right? Elbit Systems factory near Bristol, causing an estimated 1 million of damage. None of the defendants was convicted following a retrial, right? So following a retrial, a jury found 4 of the activists, including Menyon's client Charlotte Head, guilty of criminal damage. The convictions allowed the lifting of reporting restrictions about the earlier trial. In a statement, Garden Court said, not only is this the first time in English legal history that a barrister is being prosecuted for contempt in respect of closing speech at a criminal trial, but the procedure being used to prosecute Rajiv is wholly novel and without historical precedent. Actually, it's not. I think, didn't they do a similar thing to Tommy Robinson? I don't know. I'd have to go and have a look at the detail. Rajiv is independently represented by solicitors and leading counsel who have made powerful arguments about the jurisdictional legality, right? And this is really important, and procedural propriety of the contempt proceedings being brought against Rajiv. Judgment is currently awaited from the Court of Appeal, Civil Division. This is going to really be important. It's all dropping down into my box. That's why I asked about Rupert. I ain't seen nothing. It is hoped that the arguments being advanced will prevail and that the proceedings against Rajiv will swiftly concluded without Rajiv having to stand trial. Whatever the outcome, Garden Court Chambers will continue to support Rajiv. It's important to note that the prosecution of Rajiv for contempt has wider constitutional implications. We are extremely concerned about the chilling effect on the bar of the state seeking to criminalise barristers for their representation of their clients. Such action is bound to undermine the confidence of the public that those charged, particularly in political and controversial cases, can receive the committed representation that they would expect to be provided. That certainly does not happen. That's why people like me are really important. And I just want everyone to understand this. I want you to listen to what I'm saying, right? This is crucially important, right? The judiciary and the legal profession have a monopoly that is constitutionally unlawful, and that is why you need to remove that monopoly. That people that understand the law and have studied the Constitution need to be up there arguing and putting things forward. My camera's gone off, but hopefully you can still see this. Lord Justice Lord Justice Dingerman, Bean's pretty good. Lord Justice Dingerman and Lord Justice Stuart Smith are due to hand down judgment tomorrow. So we'll see what this judgment says tomorrow, whether it does come in, but it's got to come in pretty lively. That looks like an appeal. It is an appeal court, right? So we'll see what they come out with. They're the second highest judges in the country. Don't forget, I won 3-0 against Sarah Pouchin. And for some strange reason, Rupert Lowe has been bigging her up on Twitter. And from my understanding, can you all hear me still? You won't be able to see me, but can you all hear me? Right, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to reset the camera. Right, I'll reset the camera. Can you all see and hear me again? So the basis of this is they also said in this report that this has pretty massive constitutional repercussions. Now, I want to tell everyone about this Rajiv. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, right? So I'm going to make sure it's on there, on the screen, and I'll share it with you yet again, right? I want people to understand what it is that I'm talking about. Where the frig has that gone? It's disappeared now. Contempt proceedings. There it is. It's on the screen as we speak, right? Now, Rajiv Menon, some years ago, was one of the barristers responsible for the reversal of the double jeopardy rulings in this country at the common law that meant that you had a constitutional right and the state could not prosecute you twice for the same crime. Otherwise, you get a situation where they just keep prosecuting you until they get the right answer from the jury. That was ruled unlawful. Well, it was Rajiv Menon that managed to get that reversed against the killers, alleged killers, that they've been convicted, but of Stephen Lawrence, right? Some of that evidence, the reason I say alleged, some of that evidence was dubious, and the way it was obtained was even worse. But let me just make sure I'm clear on this, right? So I'm not advocating anyone goes out and kills anyone. You ain't never heard the full truth about Stephen Lawrence, right? And I lived not far from there, right? So without going into any detail, you've not been told the full truth. The media have told you one thing, the local people knew something else, right? But the contempt proceedings against Rajiv Menon would be novel. It wouldn't be that novel, and without historical precedent, says Chambers, right? So this is about unintended consequence and doing something where you change the constitution and it comes back and bites you on the arse, right? He was one of the leading barristers that changed our constitution. Bearing in mind his name is Rajiv, right? I don't believe that's an English name, right? So Rajiv manages to change our constitution so you can then be prosecuted twice for the same crime. His client gets a not guilty, right? The state decide and the CPS decide we want this reheard by another jury, right? And then they get guilties, right? He started this. So when his client, right, says, "Oh, this is such a terrible event that we've been tried twice for the same crime," he needs to own up to what he's done in the past, right? Now, I accept that if some people think, for whatever strange reason, that if someone thinks someone's guilty, they've got to keep trying them until they get a guilty. But that isn't the case. And I can tell you something now. You've got Lucy Letby, right, that I can tell you now. The judge should have thrown that case out midway, right, and said there is no case here for a jury because it was all circumstantial. The evidence was crap. Unfortunately, she had a dodgy barrister, a dodgy CPS, and a dodgy judge, right? And then they put dodgy evidence to the jury. And then they hyped it and hyped it and hyped it that she's this evil woman and the evil, really get into people, an evil baby killer. What was it they used to do with propaganda during or before the Second World War, where they were saying the Nazis were bayoneting babies? And it was propaganda. By the way, people who did bayonet babies were the British and draw their cutlasses and kill 19 working class people in Petersfield, just outside Manchester, in 1819. Right? You're not taught that in fucking school, are you? Right? Because we didn't have the vote. So just to make sure everyone is aware, does everyone understand what I just said to him? That this guy that is now being prosecuted for contempt of court, and they're saying this type of thing isn't. Let me tell you something. Barristers, I can go back 30 years ago. Barristers were terrified of would not tell a jury that they had the right to find you not guilty if you would have done the same thing, right? And you must also remember that when you put a defence, if you put a defence to the jury, whatever your defence is must be conveyed by that barrister, and no judge is allowed to stop that defence being put. That a judge isn't allowed to say that that's no defence. It's down to the jury to decide, right? And the second thing is, a judge is not allowed to direct a guilty verdict. If he does, and this could be said that that's exactly what this judge has done by removing parts of the evidence which a jury could look at and say is expulsory. So, in other words, that makes them innocent, right? All they're trying to do is save people's lives. But all I'm doing is trying to make sure is John Godley? Is he out there? Let me have a look. John Godley Harding, are you out there? We was talking about you the other day, son. I've got to get you back on the show. I'll have to rig up the phone in. Seeing as you used to live in Bideford, in Devon, and you can tell the story of you coming off a motorcycle at the age of 22, remembering the number plate of Mr. Bisley, the butcher, whatever his name was. I thought that was hilarious, right? Not just the fact that you refer to him as Mr. Bisley, the butcher, but the fact that you remembered his number plate. I thought that was fantastic. Black belt barrister. Who's black belt barrister? I don't like him, by the way. There's nothing black belt about him. I bet he couldn't have a straightener in the ring. Let's have a look. We know the media lie about everything. They lie about everything. Trust me. Flying out tonight to Lanzarote, looking for rats. Sure, that's Bill. You're not going along to Lanzarote, are you? No, jock the lad. How many people are out there? So again, one of the things that you could be, I think it needs to be said to restore Britain. So you consider it to be completely fair that the only constituent nation of the Union that's never had a referendum, right, is England. Its own national referendum. Scotland are now having, I think, 4 referendums on leaving the Union. And by the way, Scotland doesn't need a referendum. All they need to do is reverse the process. They've got how many, whatever, Westminster MPs, right, in Westminster. They bring them up into Scotland. They open Holyrood as a sovereign parliament, which they've done previously in 1999. It was the first time it's been reopened as a parliament. They then recess the parliament. They go and have a committee meeting of the MPs only, right? The members of parliament, meaning members of parliament at Westminster. That is at a higher level than the assembly, right? Because the Holyrood as a sovereign parliament, and if it hasn't got the authority of the crown, it's known as a convention parliament, right? Which is the highest form of authority. It will be the people and the commoners. If they want to drag a few of their lords back, they can. They make a decision, and it's only literally they go back into Parliament. In the Scottish Parliament, they vote, because that's what happened originally. They vote, on whether to void the Acts of Union and leave the Union. That's it. If the vote is a majority to leave, and that's all it needs is a majority. If it's unanimous, even the better. But if it's a majority verdict, they have just, because when they went in, it wasn't a majority. It wasn't unanimous. It was a majority verdict vote. So they just have to reverse the process. They do not need, and let me make myself clear here, they do not need a referendum, right? And under international law, that is sufficient. They've reversed the process of how they went in. They didn't have a referendum to go in. They don't need a referendum to come out, right? That's all bullshit, right? So as long as everyone understands that, because these people, we have never been given that, right? And the British political establishment, the British political media, or the media, right? The banking system, everything about what's going on at the moment is all about controlling England, right? we would go back to a distributed governance system in England almost immediately if you avoid the Acts of Union. It's as simple as that. And yet, the people in Restored Britain will not listen to this argument, right? Because they're fucking terrified of what, right? Scotland's already lost. Let me take this off. Scotland's already, it's a region of the European Union. They've already took out the 7 constabularies. They've made it into a region, a state of the European Union. They've done the same with London, right? They're destroying London now. It's destroyed, really, right? Because it's a region, it's got a regional assembly. Scotland is a regional assembly. Northern Ireland is a regional assembly. Southern Ireland is a regional assembly. Wales is a regional assembly. You're already gone. And now you're all attacking England. And when England finally becomes them 9 devolved regions, what they're called, it's regionalisation, right? England don't exist. And yet these people in Restore will not listen to this. They're unionists. Right? They're nothing. In my view, if they're going to carry on along them lines, and they're doing exactly the same. They are the exact same as everyone else, right? But all I'm doing is telling people the truth. I didn't get this off the top of my head, people. Right? So William Wade, even A.V. Dicey, he started out as an ardent unionist, right? And there's a massive difference between a unionist and a nationalist, right? Unionism is not nationalism, right? Unionism is a stepping stone to globalisation. And the same attack mechanism being used on England has been used in the USA. That's why Trump got rid of the North American Free Trade Agreement. It was a mirror image of the British Union. He knew that straight out the door. As soon as he got in, he knew what they was doing, right? Yeah, it's been in place for years and years and years, but he took it out because they was taking the piss out of Americans. They put in that, and 9/11. From 9/11, they had the Patriots Act. The Patriots Act created the Department of Homeland Security. The Department of Homeland Security created the FEMA regions, 10 regions in America, North America, right? That then contained, each one contained 5 states, and then the states were gone and you had a region. It's all part of the same process. That's what I'm telling people. The videos are on there of me showing you exactly what it is. Restore Britain won't listen to it, right? I understand, as Michael Yon says, the grand strategy. I don't understand all of it. Don't get me wrong, right? But I can see what they're doing. I can see that Trump had a brain and understood what they was doing, right? And these people won't even listen. So we'll have to wait and see what goes on. But I've got no issue. We've got to do something. But I am concerned about the exceptionally bad communication. There's no need for it, in my opinion. And I do believe there is a massive disconnect in the same way as the Labour Party, in the same way as the Conservative Party, in the same way as all these. They have done something that is fundamentally wrong. And that is they have, in effect, a parliamentary Restore Britain party, and then as a disconnect from the people, they have the actual party or the membership of the party. It is completely disconnected, right? And the Labour Party did the same thing, right? So Keir Hardie, for example, who was an ardent nationalist, he wanted out of the union. So Keir Hardie, right, a key Labour parliamentary Labour Party. If you go back and look, you can research this. Just go and put into Keir Hardie support Home Rule for Scotland, right? And show me his posters, and up they'll come Home Rule. Keir Hardie, Labour Party, Home Rule. Why? Because he understood that the only people who are going to protect Scotland were the Scottish, and the only people who are going to protect England are the English. Right? And the only people who are going to protect Wales are the Welsh. And the only people who are going to protect Northern Ireland are the Northern Irish. But the English can back any one of them up, right? But once England's gone, right, which is being destroyed now, right, it's all over. And the only reason this is continuing, right, and the worst possible part of this, right, was we know what caused the rot, and it was in. And I'm not having a go at the Scots. That's their system. If they want that system, they can keep that system. But it's the Roman law system. When you read these old law books, it tells you, right? Anyone with a Roman law system, whether it be a monarchy or a constitutional republic or a constitutional monarchy, if they are running a Roman law system, they never survive. We have survived. England has survived for 1100 years because of the common law jurisdiction. Go and have a look at all these other places. None of them, right, have survived because they've all been Roman law. So that's all I'm saying to you. And that doesn't mean I don't like Welsh people. I've got no problem with the Welsh. I've got no problem with the Scottish or the Northern Irish. In fact, I've said it a million times. The Northern Irish are more English than the English as it currently stands. And let me tell you something else. They did not surrender their weapons. They fucking buried them. That's it. Good night. God bless. And I will see you all tomorrow night, 8 p.m. live. And don't forget what I believe in. The Constitution is the solution. And I'm just a normal, everyday working geezer, right? I am not a politician. I am not a diplomat. And I will try my hardest to take this country back for all of us. But there are certain levels of people out there, their thinking is just completely null and void. They're not even thinking. They're just brainwashed, indoctrinated by the British political system and the media. That's it. Good night. God bless.